hell, it's lovely.
Thank you. Hello, lovelies, and welcome to episode 32 of the Making Stories podcast. I'm Hanna Lisa, one half of this podcast, and I was just going to say one half of your host today. That doesn't make any sense. That's my brain before my second coffee, people. Um, Over there is my wonderful dear friend and lovely colleague, Claire, and together we're a part of Making Stories, and here at Making Stories, we're all about knitting sustainably. Apparently, my camera does not agree with me today because it just went completely dark. I don't know if that was just me on my screen.
Oh,
Okay, but anyways,
think so.
so here at Making Stories, we're all about knitting sustainably. You might know us from our magazine that is up there. Our latest issue 7 launched a little over a month ago, and it's all about joy, and it just brings us so much joy still.
it does.
But we also do a few other things. We stock a wonderful selection of sustainably produced yarns, and Claire writes a fantastic blog that's all about helping you make the knits that you will wear and love for years and years to come. Also, we love knitting, and there's always something on our needles.
Yep.
And I think that's what we're going to start with today. And then we have an exciting new blog post that we want to share a little something about. And then last but not least, a little shop news. Did I forget anything?
No, that's everything for today.
Yay!
Well done.
Okay, so let's dive right in. Grab a cup of tea or coffee, grab your knitting. We'll be here not for like the 55 minutes of the last episode. Hopefully, she says.
We did. We had
2:20.
It was fun though.
It was fun. It was fun.
It was fun. It was a fun episode.
So we're going to start with what's on our needles today. And just very briefly, I wanted to show you that I actually did knit 2 of these socks. Because last episode was the episode where I said, I have an FO, and then I only had one because I forgot the other at my parents'. But my wonderful dear mother sent us a little care package, which included the second sock. Yeah.
Oh,
Here they
look
are.
at those together.
Yep.
They're
so
gorgeous.
they are the Color Wave socks by Victoria Gerasimova from our issue 7, knit in Garthenor, Snowdonia sock, colorways Bala and Sundew. And if you want to hear anything more about them, just check out the last episode because I talk a lot about the awesomeness of this heel, for example.
Oh, they're lovely.
Just so that you don't think that I'm like, oh, I have an FO, and then I don't. There's an FO. Speaking of, I did not. Oh, it's going to be very interesting to show. You're going to see why I'm laughing in a second. I did not get a lot of knitting done in the last week. So usually we have about 2 weeks between recording schedules. Our schedule was slightly off, and so we only had like 1 week, and I did not get a lot of knitting done. The knitting that I got done, though, was on this beautiful thing.
Oh, it's nearly done.
It is nearly done. So this is a little cardigan for... Is Tilly gonna come and say hi? Oh,
Tilly's,
yes.
she's having a little chunner. She's okay though.
Ooh.
Shush.
So, Tilly, what's up? You don't like the cardigan?
Tilly, come. What's the matter? Come, there's no one at the door. She thinks there's someone at the door. This is what she does. She's fine. She'll work it out.
Okay. I think I need to take off my cardigan though before I continue talking because I'm like, it's super warm. I was so cold, and then we start recording, and I'm like,
Yeah, be
what?
comfortable.
Yes. So, speaking of comfortable, I very much hope that this little cardigan will be very comfortable for our little one.
It's beautiful.
I really enjoyed knitting on this, and it's such a fun pattern for kids, I think.
Yeah.
And so fun to work, like to just play around with different color combinations. The pattern is called Alexandre le Deux, so Alexander the Second, and it is by a knitwear designer named. I am always blanking on her name because I can only ever remember people's Instagram handle, which is Atelier Knits Strands
That's
of
what I
Life. I'm really sorry. I did this the last time too. Um, and I am just going to look up that name because this is not appropriate. This is very bad
I
podcast
love that.
preparation.
Oh well, I'll put it in the notes
All
below
right.
as well.
Nami Naoko is her name.
Nice.
So it's a top-down cardigan that I'm adding in the Rerum Natura's Ulyss, which is a sport weight yarn that you can knit up at a ton of different gauges.
Gorgeous.
The nice thing about this was, and Claire, you should just cover your ears so you don't hear this, but I didn't even swatch through this.
Oh.
Claire's like, no. But there's a reason why I didn't swatch for it, because I've knit with this yarn a ton, and one of our own baby patterns, the Joy cardigan from our kids collection, is in this yarn as well. And so I knew exactly what my gauge on these needles usually is when I'm knitting flat. And so it's exactly on point. I measured it.
Perfect.
Yes.
And I think that's okay. I think that's something, if you're used to working with a certain yarn and you and you know what your gauge is going to be. My gauge, and I just think it's because it's down to my knitting skill, but my gauge tends to wildly change depending on what mood I'm in.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
so I always
totally.
feel like I need to swap. But some people are just like, no, I know exactly what gauge I'm going to get with this kind of needle and that, and I think that's brilliant if you can do that.
Oh, but totally. I have the same thing. And I also have a thing where, and maybe the camera is going to pick up, my gauge when knitting in the round versus flat is very different. So you can see that the sleeve puffs up a little here, right? Like, and then here, like at the shoulder, it puffs up, and then the sleeve itself looks a lot neater. That's because this part up here is knit flat, and then this one here was knit in the round. And I should also say on mini circulars, so a different type of needle. I'm not worried about it. That's going to block out, but that's the reason why you should always swatch in the way that the majority of the pattern is going to be knit. So if the majority of the pattern is going to be knit flat, you should swatch flat. And if it's knit in the round, you should swatch in the round. If you want to be really good, you should do both if the pattern calls for both.
I always try to do both because I find, especially sleeves, I've been burnt so many times.
Yeah.
Actually, now I don't, because I've kind of got used to it. If I got my gauge when I've knit flat, or even if I've got my gauge knitting in the round, I find knitting large circumferences and small circumferences, my gauge changes. So I tend to automatically go up at least one needle size when I do sleeves anyway, even if it's all in the round. Because, I don't know, something about sleeves, maybe they make me mad. Because I'm like, get really tight.
No, I think there is something about the smaller circumference knitting in the round that really just makes you knit a little bit tighter. Like, I mean, there's just not that much fabric and like maybe slack that you can introduce in the fabric. It's not a very scientific explanation, but yeah.
No, I think you're right though.
There are tons of things. Like also Elsa, our lovely teammate, she's knitting the Color Wave socks as well right now, and she is knitting them not really two at a time, but I think like on two different needles. And one of them she had to rip back because she was knitting them outside, and her gauge was like there was a centimeter more in the circumference of the leg. I think
that's so interesting.
She posted a story on Instagram about it, and I also thought, I mean, because obviously, like if you're knitting outside, your hands are colder, you might hold the yarn differently. So yeah. So yes, but I'm really happy with how this little cardigan is turning out, as you can see, and that's also the reason why I was laughing earlier. There's a needle sticking out here, so I'm about halfway through picking up the button back.
Oh, I love picking up stitches for a button band.
Me
I know
too,
it's not your favourite thing.
No,
do you like
I
doing
actually
it?
really like it.
Because I never know if...
Yeah. No, because in the Joy cardigan, like you don't have to pick up the stitches, basically, or not a lot of them. But here, like I really do like it.
That's one of my favorite things to do. There's something about getting to the end of a project and then just sitting there and like doing it. It is satisfying. I love it.
Very much. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully by the time that we record next, I'm gonna be able to show this. I don't have buttons for it yet. I think I might need to pop over to my local yarn store, the wonderful one in Berlin, to get a few buttons. Yeah, but I'm really enjoying it. The yarn colors are, as I said, Dero Natura Julis, and the lighter blue, with a gorgeous little denim-y look. It's Brouillard, and the darker blue is Baleine Bleu. And there are...
Oh, it's gorgeous.
I want to do, when I'm done with this, just a little roundup post of different color combinations, because we have tons of beautiful colors of that yarn in stock. And I think, no matter which colors you like, you'll find two that will work really well together in this.
Oh, definitely.
So, yeah, that's everything that I have. In the last podcast episode, I also showed the swatch, the tiny swatch.
Tiny swatch.
For my serendipity top, which I have not worked on, but we're leaving for to my in-laws tonight, and that's going to be the project that I'll be taking with me. So again, hopefully by the next time we record, I can show you some progress on that. Because I
can't wait for that.
Yeah, that's going to be my second Making Stories Joy Cal project. So yeah, just super quick plug before I throw it over to you. Our Making Stories Joy Cal for issue 7 is still running until the end of May. Super low key, whips allowed. You don't have to finish anything. The only thing that you need to do if you want to participate is post on Instagram using the hashtag Making Stories Joy Cal. And there are some beautiful projects popping up. I'm doing a project roundup every Monday. And every other Monday, I draw a prize from the previous 2 weeks. And it's been so much fun. Like, we have some people who are on their second project already.
I know.
And I'm, what?
I know.
Super cool.
I'm not gonna be able to do that, but hopefully I will definitely I'm making really good progress on mine, so I'm definitely getting mine done before the end. But I'd love to say I'm getting like another one done, but yeah, it's been so fun watching everything grow on the Joy Cal, and I have made some progress on mine.
You have.
I separated out. Ooh.
Look at that! Oh my god, it looks so good.
I am so excited. So I've been really monogamous with this. I hope people aren't going to get bored of my merrymaker, because this is what I'm working on. I'm not working on anything else because I'm really enjoying it. I had a bunch of work things to knit on last week, so I didn't get as much progress on it then. But now that I've kind of got those things out of the way, I'm just every night like sat there. Because it's so, as you always say, it's such a potato chippy pattern, because especially now I've got to the body, because I'm just knitting, stockinette. Oh, I get to use my floofy yarn, and I do some colour work, and then stockinette, and then so I keep wanting to get to the next bit of stockinette, and then the next bit of the colour work, so it's just, it's going really quickly.
It's going to be so nice.
I really like it. So that's the back as well. So Merrymaker is knit top down. You start with the neckline, and then you have short row shaping in the main colour to lift the back neck, and then you go into these wavy colourway, stranded colourway stripes, which are super satisfying. It's so nice to just sit and like create the little waves, and all the increases for the yoke happen in the stockinette section, so it's just a really relaxing, enjoyable knit. I'm having so much fun with it, and it's turning out so nice. It's going to be such a happy, wearable sweater.
Super, super good. So you're going to make it cropped, I'm assuming,
I keep thinking every time I'm working... Oh, sorry, love, I lost you for a second. What did you say?
No, I was just going to ask, are you going to keep it quite cropped, or what are you thinking in terms of body length?
I think I'm going to keep it fairly... So this sweater's quite cropped. I think I'm going to go probably a little bit lower than this sweater, but not super long. So probably so it breaks just on the hip.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. So I'm just going to keep going. So I have adjusted it because my gauge was off because I used a different yarn. Um, so I do have more rows in between the stripes and what calls for it in the pattern. So I thought I'm just going to keep going until my... How am I going to say this? I'm going to eyeball it, basically. Is that a saying that you have in Germany? I'm
Yep.
just going to eyeball it. So I'm going to do that until I look at it and I like the amount of stripes and where it's landing. And then I'm just going to go in with a ribbed hem and finish it off, which is what is in the pattern, but I'm not going to be overly precious, I guess. So I'm just going to keep trying it on until it gets to a length that I'm happy with and then stop it there. And I'm going to do the full length sleeves on it.
Yeah.
And I should have enough yarn. I only have one ball of the contrasting colour, which is this gorgeous... it's the Erling Red colourway of... this is Botanical Fibres Feather. So I only have the one ball, but I think I'm going to have more. It's enough yardage as what's listed in the pattern. So yeah, I'm going to do the full length sleeves. I was kind of tempted. I can't decide yet. I'm going to see how much of this I have left once I've done the body, which I think is going to be loads still. I can't decide if I'm going to taper the sleeves off like it says in the pattern or just knit them straight.
Yeah.
And have them a little poofier. I don't know yet. But I'm going to decide on that when I get to the sleeves and just keep trying it on. And every time I kind of do this with it, I don't have a pair of dungarees, but I really want a pair of dungarees.
Yes!
It's one of those things I'm like, this would look so much fun under a pair of dungarees. Wouldn't it, though?
It would.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Would. I think you should totally get one or make one. I think there are some awesome dungarees patterns out there if you want to sew.
Yes.
You're like, oh, no.
No, you've read my mind because I keep going on and finding dungaree patterns, but my my sewing skills, I just made my first top not that long ago. So in terms of making dungarees, I don't think I'm quite there yet, but hopefully if I keep practicing, maybe I'll be able to make some dungarees. I think that would be really fun. I keep going on, I don't know if you have a similar thing in Germany, but in Canada and the US there's this website called ThreadUp, and it's basically a big online thrifting store. So I tend to, if I need new clothes or I'm looking for something, I go on there to look for secondhand first. So I keep going on ThreadUp to look for dungarees, but so far I haven't found any that would be right. But yeah, some point in the future I want to wear this with a pair of dungarees over it. It would be super fun. This is my merrymaker.
Yay! We have all the stripes, you know, like I have the stripes.
We do, don't
stripes. We? Yeah. Super cool.
So as I said, this is Botanical Fibres. This is some yarn I had in my stash from the Hollyhock Fibre Company, which no longer I think are trading. But this is a BFL Masham base, and I think this is... you can get something very similar to this around. I went stash diving for this project, which I'm really happy with because it turned out perfectly, which actually segues into what our latest blog post is all about, which is substituting yarn. So if this is something that you've been a little bit nervous to do in the past, I know it's one thing when we do a lot of... if we do any surveys and we like to ask people what they're thinking, and like to ask you what problems you have when it comes to creating something that you want to wear again and again. I know the yarn substitution does come up quite often, and it's something that can confuse people because substitution yarn, especially if you want a finished project that looks a lot like the sample, getting the right yarn goes a big way in that. If you choose something that's not quite right, you can end up with a finished object that's just not right for you and you don't wear it, and that sucks. So I've written a new blog post that's all about substituting yarn. It breaks it all down and walks you through the things to look out for and how to get as close a match as possible, or maybe you don't want as close a match as possible, but also looking at it from, if I change this about it, such as the fibre content, then I'm going to get a slightly different outcome, which is fine. But it's all about eliminating any surprises, so you know exactly what you're getting at the end of the day. So definitely check out that post. I had so much fun writing it. I love, one of my favourite things is hunting for a yarn for a project and trying to work out what's going to work depending on the fibre content and the weight and all the rest of it. So I hope you find that really helpful. I'm going to link it below, so definitely check out that post and share your thoughts with us. If you find it useful, you can share your comments below here or the comments in the blog post, because we always just want to keep improving things and making sure there's lots of information there on the website and the blog that'll help you in creating your patterns. So
I'm so excited about that blog post because I know it's one that we've been talking and you've been wanting to write for a long time, and it's a beast of a topic, if I can say that. Like it can get really complex, but I think it is also one that is really, really important and really like, I think it is one of the sort of skills. I'm not looking at knitting as like a way of acquiring skills. Like, I don't think that's, for me, knitting is fun. But I think learning how to substitute yarn is one of the most useful things you can do as a knitter, because it will allow you to either look at your stash. I don't have a huge stash anymore, but like look at your stash and like see whether there's something there that might work for a particular project, or vice versa. If you're looking at a beautiful yarn, you're like, I have no idea what, this could be for, then it also allows you to then, start hunting for a good project if you understand how the yarn impacts the finished object. So I'm really, really excited about it. And like, yeah, and also if you have any questions, if you're knitting any one of our patterns and you're not really sure about the yarn that you want to use with it or so, always reach out to us. Just send us an email to hello@making-stories.com or the little chat box on the website. We're always super happy to help with that, because we know it can be a bit difficult. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I think especially where we started, we have so much more yarn in the web shop. It's nice just to have that extra thing there, that if you're going through our yarn stash on in the yarn cave and you need a little extra support of, like Hanna Lisa said, you can always reach out to us too, but that's kind of there for you to refer to, just to read through, and it might just give you a little extra help that you need and a little bit of extra confidence for choosing yarn for your next project. So yeah, do check it out. And talking about yarn in the web shop though, we have a lot more yarn suddenly in the wool cave that I'm very excited about.
Yes, well, it's actually not yet in the wool cave. It's all sitting right there, just out of frame in a gigantic box. So yeah, we, I mean, as if you've been following us for a while, you know that, I mean, we only started selling yarns permanently in our web shop last fall. And one thing that we're now doing is building up like our core yarns. So the way that I'm thinking about the yarns that we're going to be carrying is that I want to have something, at different price points in different weights that's also suitable for different projects. So something, that's a good all-rounder, but also something that works really well just with cables, and something that works well with color work, and preferably in an affordable version. And then maybe if you want to treat yourself in a slightly more luxurious version, things like that. And one of the things that kept coming up, as Claire said, like, we love asking you questions about what you want to see from us. And one of the things that kept coming up whenever we asked about yarns and what you want to see from us is like, you have a very distinct color palette. Maybe expand on that.
We do as well. I didn't realize.
Me neither.
I didn't realize until someone said that.
Exactly. And which is why I love this conversation with every single one of you so much, because I mean, we do. Like, Claire and I love a lot of the same colors. And like So like, first, before adding more yarns to the lineup, we're adding more colors to the yarns that we already have. So in the last episode, we already showed that we have tons more colors of the Rome Naturas, Juliet, and Ulysses. And the gigantic box that's sitting over there is a lot more colors of Garthenor Organics Beacons and Snowdonia Sock. Should we just, I know we didn't plan this, but should I just pick a couple of favorites really quickly? All right.
Get them out, yeah, because I want to see them.
I'm just going to I'm just gonna pull the big box right over here. Okay, so so a lot of I want to say the crowd favorites, they are back in stock. Like I'm gonna start with beacons. So we have the ones that we had before, lichen, koi, gorse. Just quickly showing those. No blue, no red, no dark colors. Yeah, yep. I see this. I hear this. Enter dragonfly. Hello.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Very
pretty.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Or just pulling out like a couple of examples. Cadet, which is a lot more muted than anything that we had before. Or sycamore, maybe.
Ooh, that's nice.
Burnt orange. They are all super, super pretty. Or wild olive.
Ooh,
Beautiful dark
pretty.
green. Yeah, just super quickly going through all of these here. I'm planning on doing a longer video about Garthenor yarns anyways, and so I'll show those colors properly there. But we basically have a rainbow of beacons now, which I'm really excited about. So head over to the web shop to take a look. And we also got a massive restock of Snowdonia sock, because you somehow emptied all our shop shelves when we launched the beautiful Sea Forest socks in issue 7. I know, me neither. Let's just quickly show them again because they're so good.
So nice.
They're so nice.
I love that heel.
So, oh, me too. So those are definitely going to jump on my needles as well. It's a pattern by Isabel Ale, and for just like throwing around massive bags of yarn here. So for Snowdonia sock, we got a restock of all of the colorways that we already have, including the ever popular Ogwin. And we also got a massive amount of stone crab, which we haven't had in stock for the last year. So this is super cool.
Such a nice color.
Yeah. So this is really nice. And then we also have 3 new colors, which I'm just going to show one because I really, really like it. And I think everyone's going to hopefully go crazy over it. Juniper.
Ooh,
it's like
nice.
A heathered minty. This is not picking up very well. Maybe we can insert a picture here. So it's a really beautiful minty, minty green.
That's really nice.
Dyed on dark gray, so it has a lot of depth. So I really, really like that. So yeah. So all of those are in the shop now, and for Sea Forest, we've also updated our kit selection with the new colors. And I am already planning a project, which I think will also be a nice exercise in like substituting yarns and changing gauge. What? So,
ooh, oh, look at those colors together. They're very clear colors.
I know, but I kept looking at different color combinations, and this was the one that I had in my head even before I got the restock. And so I'm like, this would be really nice.
Ooh, it'd be so nice.
I want to make the coloring book Raglan by Amy Scher. In the spring version, which is cropped and has like not really flared sleeves, but they're not tapered, like just straight 3/4 length sleeves, with marble as the main color, and then gorse for the stripes. So this is going to be here, and it's going to be like the stripes are on the body and then on the sleeves.
Oh, it's going to be so... That's exactly what I would have picked. That variation of that pattern. In fact, I already did, even before Hanna Lisa said she was going to do this. I'd seen that pattern. I'd been like, I want that version, and I need it in like a neutral and a yellow. And then I think we spoke on Skype like the week later, and you were like, I'm going to knit this in beacons and do this. And I was like, yes.
We
I
could
need to
be
make
twins.
the exact same one.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. I'll make the exact same version, and then whenever we actually get to see each other in real life, ever, we'll just wear them at the same time.
Yes.
It's super cool.
Yes, and we will get to see each other in real life again. So.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Please.
Okay, so I think this is everything for today. 30 minutes.
Yes.
Almost half of last time. Yay!
Yay.
No, we love recording long podcast episodes, but
Yeah.
also I love watching knitting podcasts, but every time someone is like very much over the 30-minute mark, I'm like, can be a bit of a slog.
I gotta go do things.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're aiming for more of the 30-minute mark now.
Yeah. But do let us know what your preference is as well. If you like the longer episodes, Hanna Lisa and I can talk about knitting forever.
Oh,
so
we can.
that's absolutely fine. But yeah, let us know what you think about the longer, the shorter length, and whatever. We're always happy to adjust things and, and work on the podcast. So
yeah, and if you like this, to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, send it to a knitting friend, and then we'll see you back here in 2 weeks.
Yay!
Alrighty, see you
soon.
then. Bye.